The ocean lies calm, as if hiding something older than every story we were ever told. For 12,000 years, half of our history has slept beneath this quiet surface. Some say a city once stood here. A city so advanced that even today, we struggle to imagine it. The first person to describe it wasn't a poet. It was a philosopher. His name is Plato. And Plato says Atlantis vanished in a single day and a single night. People thought he exaggerated, but the details he gives don't belong to a myth. Today, for the first time, we can rebuild the city he described, piece by piece. With geological data, historical records, and artificial intelligence, the shadows finally take shape. To understand what happened, we return to the maps of the ancient world. Plato places Atlantis just beyond the Pillars of Heracles, right here where the Atlantic opens. And this is how the city looked. A perfect circle, a living machine built from rings of stone and sea. In its heart stands a marble temple, the center of power, worship, and law. The walls gleam with a metal lost to time, orichalcum, shining like fire. The mid-rings are alive, markets, colors, music, footsteps, a city that never stands still. Beyond the walls, fertile lands feed the entire city, twice each year. Atlantis commands the seas. Its fleet stretches across horizons. Its armies move with discipline, masters of war by land and by sea. The city blends styles from Greece, North Africa, and the Mediterranean, yet remains unlike anything on Earth. From above, Atlantis looks engineered, as if designed with perfect intention. But every great civilization has a moment of silence before the fall. It begins with a small tremor, easy to miss. People step outside, confused, unaware of the storm approaching. Architects notice the first signs, cracks where cracks should never appear. The second tremor is stronger, and now nothing feels stable. Water begins breaking into places it never belonged. And then, the roar. A sound no one can mistake for thunder. Panic spreads. No one knows what's coming, but everyone runs. Even the temples begin to fall. And finally, the monster reveals itself. In a single breath, Atlantis is no longer a city, but a shadow beneath a wall of water. Morning rises over Atlantis. The city wakes in soft light, as if nothing could ever touch its perfect order. Streets fill with footsteps, voices, and routines repeated 1,000 times before. Architects shape the city's future, column by column, stone by stone. In the forges, metal glows like captured sunlight. Bronze and orichalcum for the city of legends. Water moves through Atlantis like blood through veins, feeding every ring of the city. Aqueducts carry fresh water from the hills, turning dry land into fields of green. Down by the harbor, new ships rise from wood and iron, ready to carry Atlantis across the sea. Trade routes stretch far beyond the horizon. Atlantis does not just live by the sea, it owns it. Every day, the harbor becomes a theater of exchange, goods, stories, and power. Inside the central temple, wealth is locked away in shadow. Metals, offerings, and memories of conquest. Children play between stone walls, unaware that they live in a story the world will never forget. In quiet courtyards, ideas travel further than ships. Teachers shape minds for a future no one will see coming. The city celebrates itself, music, dance, and the confidence of a world that believes it cannot fall. By the water, food is grilled and shared. The smell of fire and salt fills the air. In workshops, clay turns to memory. Pots, plates, and vessels for a life that thinks it will last forever. Scrolls keep what stone cannot. Maps, numbers, stories of past storms and forgotten wars. In the central temple, prayers rise to the gods, asking for protection they may not give. On the outer ring, small shrines burn through the night, guarding fields and families. As evening falls, some head to the harbor. News, trade, rumors from distant lands. Night covers Atlantis in a calm, familiar darkness. But beneath that calm, something is changing. It starts so small, a ripple in a bowl of water. People feel it before they understand it. Something in the air is wrong. At the shore, the waves begin to move. Not higher, just heavier. Stone floors vibrate with a pulse that doesn't belong to the wind or the sea. Architects sense it first. Cracks appear where the city was never meant to break. Word spreads quietly at first, then faster, ring by ring. In the council chamber, leaders gather, searching for answers in a language the earth does not speak. Others simply look to the sea, waiting for it to explain itself. Night falls heavier than before. Atlantis does not sleep easily. Far out in the Atlantic, something huge begins to rise. Morning comes, but the light over Atlantis feels heavier than before. People sense it. They move slower, talk softer. Something is wrong, even if they can't name it. The earth shivers again, deeper than before. Plato watches in silence, as if recognizing a warning he's only ever written about. Many head toward the central temple, looking for answers stone walls cannot give. Out at sea, a new sound rises. Not thunder, not wind, something else. In the council chamber, leaders argue over signs they no longer control. Down in the harbor, ships begin to sway, even though the wind has not yet risen. Small pillars crack and fall, minor sacrifices to a growing force. The animals feel it clearest. Horses pull away, birds rise, dogs refuse to be still. At the shoreline, the waves begin to break out of rhythm, like a drum gone mad. Atlantis shifts into alert. Guards move, bells ring, eyes look outward instead of inward. On the outer ring, farmers abandon their fields and run toward the inner rings. The ground splits open near the canals. Water and earth no longer agree on where they belong. Soldiers march toward the coast, not to fight an enemy, but to face something far worse. Families climb to higher ground, clinging to whatever hope elevation can offer. The first strong wave slams against the shore. Not the end, just the warning. In the markets, stalls collapse and goods scatter. Trade stops. Survival begins. The builders who once expanded the city now shout for it to be emptied. The sky closes over Atlantis, turning day into something close to night. Then the ocean does what it should never do. It retreats far, far from the shore. Now panic turns to horror. They know something enormous is coming. On the beach, soldiers stand in lines, facing not an army, but a wall of water. Plato looks out toward the horizon. seeing the end of the story he once began. Far away, a shape rises from the sea, a wave taller than anything Atlantis has ever built. Small temples crumble, one after another, as the city's faith is tested against the ocean's will. Ships twist and flip in the harbor, tossed like toys before the real wave even lands. Thousands climb to the highest terraces, hoping height can bargain with the sea. The earth opens wide, splitting Atlantis from within. The wave grows higher and higher until it dwarfs the entire city. A low, impossible sound rises from beneath the Atlantic. A deep, ancient tremor that even still water seems to fear. Across the city, people stumble as the vibration grows. Atlantis is no longer at rest. The wave shows its true form at last, no longer forming, now alive. The army gathers at the shore, knowing they can't stop what's coming, only witness it. From Atlantis's core, an ancient crack bursts outward. The great temple, once the city's pride, splits along its pillars. A violent fissure tears through the middle ring. Homes sink, roads twist, the city opening like something pulling it from below. Bridges turn into traps. Crowds rush across, only to see stone crumble under their feet. Then water rises, not from the sea, but from the ground. Atlantis floods from beneath. In the harbor, ships break apart before the wave even touches them. Masts snap, sails whip into the storm. The first great wave hits the outer ring. Farmland swallowed in a single wall of water. People push upward in panic, stones falling, dust choking the air. Every step feels like the ground could split again. The outer ring disappears, swallowed by the rising sea. What once held an empire now sinks like dust. Atlantis's walls, once unbreakable, split like fragile sand, each crack a final breath of a fading civilization. The city's heart collapses inward, temples drowning, fires dying under the rising flood. Order dissolves into chaos. Families are torn apart, parents reaching, children screaming, the world collapsing faster than they can hold on. Atlantis's proud army finally breaks. Shields shatter, bodies fall. No weapon can stand against the ocean's force. Plato watches in stunned silence. Everything he warned now unfolding. The rain hides his tears, but not the truth. Atlantis's center falls as water surges through the shattered rings. The city stops resisting the sea and yields. The sky joins the destruction, lightning ripping across the ruins as if the heavens themselves strike Atlantis. Then the sea rises again, a second wave, massive, towering like a moving mountain, ready to erase everything. The last survivors cling to the highest platform, huddled together as rising water steals every path below. The ocean roars with a fury it has never shown, like the sea itself has risen to finish what the earth began. Atlantis's core breaks at last, the great temple splitting wide, scattering sacred stones across the dying city. In their final moments, the people cling to one another, praying as their world collapses around them. And then, the third wave rises, higher than the walls, higher than the sky, a final blow no civilization could endure. With nothing left to hold the sea back, Atlantis sinks into its last breath. Its pride, its temples, its people, all taken in one unstoppable tide. The heart of Atlantis breaks for the final time. Temples vanish beneath the waves, and the city's last light fades into the roaring sea. In the drowning silence, one small flame remains, a final breath of a dying world before darkness claims Atlantis forever. When the sea finally calms, Atlantis is gone. Only waves remain, whispering the story of a world the ocean chose to keep. But beneath the quiet surface, the ruins still breathe. Silent halls, broken pillars, echoes of a world the sea claimed forever. After the Great Fall, the world held its breath. The ocean returned to silence, as if nothing had ever lived beneath its waves. Pieces of a vanished world float in quiet surrender. The last whispers of a city erased by time. Where voices once filled the air, only the wind remains, a lonely witness to what the sea has taken. Beneath this stillness, the story sleeps. Its memory lies just beyond the reach of light. Light dances upon forgotten stone, the first touch of day upon a world lost to the deep. Even here, sunlight finds a path, tracing the outlines of a memory the sea could not erase. Time buries all things, not in anger, but in patience. Layer upon layer, the world forgets. Once a place of light and music, now a silent cathedral of stone, echoing through the ages. Centuries pass like waves upon the shore. What was once memory becomes myth. Atlantis rests beneath the weight of silence, neither gone nor truly forgotten. Centuries later, scribes dared to write the name, Atlantis, across maps of an unknown sea. In the flicker of tavern lights, sailors told stories of a city swallowed whole by the sea. As horizons expanded, so did imagination. The legend of Atlantis sailed with every voyage. Through Plato's words, the myth breathed again, half history, half warning. When machines met the sea, humanity sought to prove what myth had promised. Into the unknown they went, men wrapped in iron searching for a whisper beneath the waves. And there, beneath centuries of sand, geometry spoke of hands that once built with purpose. A staircase descending into darkness, proof that myth had a foundation of stone. For the first time, belief met evidence. Atlantis emerged not from legend, but from data. The sea, once silent, now spoke again, its waves carrying the echoes of a civilization reborn. Machines listen where men once dreamed, searching the deep for the pulse of history. Piece by piece, a city takes form again, not from stone, but from streams of data. Through code and computation, memory becomes geometry, myth translated into mathematics. What was once imagination now stands before us, a digital echo of a vanished world. For a moment, the sea gives it back, the city alive again, as memory meets creation. History breathes once more, through pixels, through waves, through the will to remember. Atlantis is not a myth, it is a message. Every civilization must face the tide it creates. And once more, the philosopher's words echo, wisdom must rise where pride once fell. Silence returns, not of loss, but of peace. The sea keeps its secret, content at last. The story of Atlantis is not over. It waits beneath the surface, and within us all,